Ukraine, the country Air Force claimed on Friday.
3 Russian bomber aircraft have been shot down over southern Ukraine, the country's Air Force claimed on Friday. Today, in the southern direction, -3 Russian Su-34 fighter bombers, said Ukraine's Air Force. The country's military added, the commander of the Ukrainian Air Force, Mykola Oleshchuk, confirmed that Ukrainian air defenders shot down 3 Su-34 fighter bombers in the south direction. Su-34 aircraft are armed with guided bombs and Kh-59 missiles and can carry out long-distance attacks. There were reports of a Russian military helicopter being scrambled to try to rescue the pilot of at least one of the planes. Images going around on social media suggested at least one pilot succeeded in ejecting from one of the aircraft, with a parachute pictured on the ground. Details of the incidents could not be independently confirmed, but if the report is correct, it would be a blow to Vladimir Putin's Air Force. Russian military analysts suggested the planes were hit near Krinky in the Russian-occupied southern Kherson province. The village's situation on the east bank of the Dnipro River, where Ukrainian troops have established a bridgehead which Putin's forces have been seeking to destroy for weeks. Some reports suggested that the planes were downed by Patriot air defense systems supplied by the West. The hunt for the Russian planes lasted for a long period of time, National Security and Defense Council Secretary Oleksiy Danilov told Ukrainsky radio. These aircraft interfered and created danger for our soldiers. Ukrainian Air Force spokesperson Yuri Ihnat added, these, the Su-34, are one of the newest planes in service with the Russian army. He added that an Su-34 costs at least $50 million. As Ukraine pleads for more aircraft from the West, the Dutch government said it had decided to prepare an initial 18 F-16 fighter jets for delivery to Kyiv. The delivery of F-16s is one of the most important elements of the agreements made on military support for Ukraine, said Dutch caretaker Prime Minister Mark Rutte. Let every Russian pilot know that our answer will be to every Russian murderer. Zelensky thanked Ukrainian soldiers who destroyed 3 Russian Su-34 in his evening address. Zelensky noted that this is the result of our Air Force and the Odessa Anti-Aircraft Missile Brigade. And this analysis is from Tendar on Twitter. The information regarding the 3 destroyed Russian Su-34 is still fluid, and we still need some more solid facts, but the evidence already at hand and the fuming in pro-Russian social networks, we can be sure that it is basically genuine. Everything points to an event similar to the so-called Bryansk massacre in May 2023, where in a matter of a few minutes 2 fighter planes and 3 choppers of the Russian Air Force were blown out of the skies of Bryansk, Russia. The Ukrainian Air Force later confirmed that it was responsible and that a MIM-104 Patriot air defense system was used, finally proving all speculations. The events today in the south of Ukraine are similar, but in some aspects even more impressive. It required extensive coordination and planning. The 3 Russian Su-34 were likely part of an air group attacking the Ukrainian detachment in Krinky, Kherson. Russians have been using improved FAB-500 missiles, which they fired more than 50 kilometers from the impact points and out of range of short and medium-ranged air defense assets of the Ukrainian army. Russians felt basically safe to deploy their standoff weapons. This has dramatically changed. It is highly likely that Ukraine deployed the latest MIM-104 Patriot battery in the south, likely the latest Patriot battery from Germany. The PAC-2 variant has a range of at least 160 kilometers, probably more. This considerably extended the zone in which the Ukrainian air defense was able to destroy enemy planes. I marked it in orange on my map, but it is a relatively conservative estimation and considers that the battery is not deployed too close to the current front line. You can easily extend that area and strike even far deeper. I speculate that once the 3 Russian fighter planes were in the kill zone, the Patriot system turned on, targeted the enemy planes, and then fired its missiles. This is common practice for all missile-based air defense assets. The missiles travel with the speed of Mach 4, and reach their targets within 1 to 2 minutes, which is virtually impossible for the Russian planes to counter or to lose altitude. Yet, the level of planning and coordination is extremely difficult. Even with an excellent weapon system such as MIM-104 Patriot system, you cannot take this for granted. Even small errors could cause failure in this undertaking or even threaten the own survival of the air defense system. The window of success is short and dangerous. But just like in Bryansk, they succeeded. The Ukrainian air defense system once again showed us how capable they are, a tribute to their never-ending ingenuity. For the Russian war effort, this is extremely bad news. The Russian swarms of drones and missiles in this winter are getting effectively repelled so far. Ukraine finally allows to use its best air defense system even for offensive operations. Krinky is only an example, but a good one. Despite the Ukrainian forces only having around 300 to 500 men in Krinky and Russians on the other side around 7 brigades, which should actually be enough to repel the small Ukrainian detachment in Krinky alone, it was mainly the Russian Air Force which countered the small Ukrainian unit. The Russian ground forces were pummeled by artillery and drones. It was only the Russian planes which weren't countered yet. This has obviously changed, and it will be another painful thorn in Russia's side. This also comes only after weeks when the Russian Su-24M was shot down over the Black Sea near Snake Island. The message is clear. The south is now officially a hot area for the Russian Air Force. In October, Ukraine's ATAK-MS blew up 11% of Russia's K-52 attack helicopters. They got only 20 ATAK-Ms from the US because they have only 4,000. Today, Ukraine destroys 3 Su-34 bombers with a Patriot system that Germany delivered just 2 weeks ago. If the West finally supplies more weapons and the right systems, then Putin has to go to the negotiating table or shoot himself in the bunker, would probably be better. This is how war has worked for 10,000 years or more. Show strength and the enemy has to negotiate. Show weakness and the enemy continues. And some footage of the battle in the village of Terebrano, Belgorod region from the Freedom of Russia Legion. The reconnaissance revealed a platoon base of Russian border guards in a half-neglected and once residential building. Stormtroopers of the Freedom of Russia Legion successfully demobilized many Russians.